Yes, good evening and welcome to tonight's program. Today is part 2 of the series on marriage. Yesterday we covered what to look for in a partner. Today we are covering marriage principles. Now, the reason we cover this, you know that the world has got its own view on marriage. Many Christians are divorcing, many are unhappy, many are doing what is called fat and set in South Africa. It means where you sit with somebody where you are cohabiting, but there is no commitment. So I think it's high time as Christians we wake up and smell the coffee. You know, we teach the word, yes, but I think we need to go practical sometimes, most times actually. Go practical and have the word being practiced in our lives. So marriage is one such area where Christians are challenged. So one thing about divorce or marriage is that it affects both Christians and non-Christians. So now there appears to be no difference in the way that we handle it. And the Christians have got the wonderful book authored by God to us, to help us. So now, this evening, I just want to address the principles of marriage. We know that many people get into marriage for different reasons. So, but then today, I want to highlight on the don'ts of marriage. Number one, don't be in a rush to get married. Let it happen in God's timing. Don't be in a rush. So most Christians have got a problem in understanding God's timing. So now there are two kinds of timing. There is the chronos time. Chronos is from the Greek word. It means chronological. Chronological means we know that from 1 it goes to 2 to 3 to 4, then 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. That is chronological and it does not change. And it revolves around the same midpoint. But then there is a God kind of timing, which is a kairos time. God's timing we don't know. It will just happen in God's timing. So now people have got a challenge. Sometimes they look at their chronos and they think that it is the kairos. So now you just let it happen at its own time. Do not rush it. Do not rush it because you think you're getting old. Do not rush it because you think somebody will marry your spouse or your partner. Do not rush just because you want to complete your qualification. Look, marriage is not like a qualification that you get at varsity, where they tell you that you've got 3 years to complete a degree. Marriage is not like that. You do not have number of years in which you can get married. So now do not rush into marriage. A time period of holiness is necessary, especially if you're a Christian. You need to practice holiness. Holiness will help you to say no to certain things. Holiness will help you to stay pure. Holiness will help you enjoy your honeymoon. Holiness will help you look forward to marriage. So now if you do not live a holy life, what will you look into marriage for? Because you've got everything that you want outside marriage. So that is why you need to wait for God's timing. God's timing will make it a point that you enter into marriage with a bang. You look forward to your honeymoon. So it is important, very, very important that you look forward to your honeymoon. So now if you want to get married but then you've already done everything, done that, and got the t-shirt. What is the point of honeymoon? What's the point of honeymoon? You get into your honeymoon, you are tired already. So you need to wait for God's timing. And age, let me repeat what I said yesterday. Age is not a guiding thing. Maturity is. Age is not a guiding thing. Some ladies can get married at 21 and they'll be mature enough to get married. But some men will have to wait up until 35 to get married and be responsible. So it is important that you wait for God. You wait for God's timing. That is Kairos timing. Number 2, you do not marry because of a wave of sexual passion. We all know what passion is. Passion means a desire. But then the minute you qualify it and say sexual passion, it means you marry because you can't wait to have sex. Now some people will tell you, I am marrying for sex. No, you can't marry for sex. You can't. Sex is just one of the benefits that we have within the marriage. So, but many people think, oh my goodness, when I get married, I'll do this every day. When I get married, I don't have to hide this. I can do it publicly, and then no one will ever judge me. I will not be sinning. Yeah, many people marry for different reasons. And do not marry on the wave of sexual passion just because you feel passionate to be able to go to bed with someone. So it is important. So now remember, when you go through this wave of passion and you resist it, it helps you to go and think into marriage logically. So now if you've got sexual passion in your mind, logic flies out. You are not logical at all. All you think of is sex. So you need to get out of that mentality. You need to get out of that mentality. That is why you do not marry on the wave of a sexual passion. Number 3, many people confuse sex and love. So don't confuse sex and love. These two are not the same, especially for the different genders. I mean, men can have sex and not feel anything. But women on the other side are different. So I won't go into that psychological makeup today, but then God willing, we'll touch that on Thursday. But it is important that you'll remember that sex is an expression of love, but it is not love itself. Sex is not love. You hear people saying that, no, let's make love. You can't make love. Sex is not love, but it's an expression of love. I hope you understand that. And sex is temporary, but marriage or relationship is permanent. Sex is temporary. Sex can be affected by certain things like sickness, mood, depression, high blood pressure, and other things. So sex is temporary. And you may have the desire today and not have it tomorrow. The mood will detect, the mood will change. But in marriage, it does not matter what mood you are in. You are still married. So it is important that you understand this. So many people want to go into marriage simply because of sex. No, please, we need to hold the horses. We need to hold the horses. Right. Number 4. Do not marry to solve problems. Yeah, I know of many people, they want to get married because they want to solve problems. Maybe someone has been naughty and someone fell pregnant. And they say, no, let's get married because we do not want to shame the church. No, let's get married because I am a pastor's kid. I don't want to spoil the name of my pastor. Or let's get married because at your home they're abusing you, so you need to run away into your own space. Or let's get married because we want to buy a house together. Or let's get married because of so many reasons that people can come up with trying to solve a problem. Some people can say, let's get married because I don't want to pay for your school fees and you are not my wife, because if I pay for your school fees and you are not my wife, when you qualify you might leave me. So now you do not marry to solve a problem. Remember, to be single is not a problem. So now you do not marry in order to solve the singleness problem. Actually, to be single is joy. To be single is joy. I mean, just look at Paul the Apostle. He was the most effective, impactful one in the New Testament. Probably because he was single. He didn't have to worry about pampers. He didn't have to worry about paying rent for everybody. He didn't have to worry about anything. So maybe when you're single, you get the best time of your life. So now do not get married to solve problems. I mean, there are problems of being lonely. You say, hey, I am lonely. I want to solve my problem. I want somebody that I can go to bed with. Or I am afraid in my house. Or I can't afford a loan. Or marry because you want to shame the baby daddy that left you. Or marry because you want to prove a point. No, that is not the right reason to get married. Now, some people were jilted by their boyfriends or by their girlfriends. So now, in order to soften the rebound, they decide to get married. And you find that when they get married, there is no love at all there. They just get married because, or they just want to prove a point. They want to prove to that other person that it was their loss, that they never got married to you. Some people want to get married just for show off. No, do not marry to solve a problem. Let us go to number 5. Do not marry as a status symbol. We know that there are people that want to marry into a royal family because they will be called a princess. I mean, we know it happened in Britain. King Charles, in case you don't know, there was a lady, Camilla Parker. She got married because she wanted to get married to the royal family. When Princess Diana died, she got a chance. So now there are people that get married simply because they want a status. Some people want to get married because they want a ring in their finger. And it's those people, it is when it is worshiping time, they are the people that lift the left hand. They do the left hand worship in church. Why? Because they want the ring to be seen. So now some people want to marry a pastor because they want to be a Mamruti. Some people want to marry a doctor because they want to be married to a doctor. It's a status symbol for them. Now, whenever they speak, they say, oh, my husband is a doctor, or my husband is a pastor, or my husband is a lawyer. No, let's get this straight. This thing of saying my husband is a doctor does not hold water. Look at yourself first. What are you? What are you? You cannot boast on the status of your spouse. Because remember, marriages get challenged. Marriages get challenged all the time. There are people that go out, there are people known as witches. Do you know those people don't need an invitation? Those people don't need an invitation. All you need to do to invite them is to boast about your spouse. All you need to invite them is to boast about your ring, how expensive your ring is. So it is important that you do not marry as a status symbol or to create a particular image. Now, did you know that there are people that get married and they're unhappy, but just to create this image out there that marriage is cool? Marriage is cool, and then they want to show everybody, they want to portray this smiling face in front of people, in front of people, but deep down they're hating. So now you do not marry for image purposes. Now some people, there are people that got married because their parents wanted them to get married. As you know, if you are my age, for instance, you might know that parents used to organize marriages for their children. Parents used to wish, oh, I wish my child would marry so and so. I wish my child would marry in that family. You know, I've got that. And I sometimes wonder what would have happened had it come to pass. I wonder what would have happened. But it didn't happen. I can't say I thank God because I don't know what would have happened. But then there are some people that are getting married to please their parents, or they stay married to please their parents. This happens a lot when people believe in madlozi. And when they get married, they say, no, we kill an animal and then we are bringing two families together, and they call the ancestors and bring them in there. You know, people stay in that kind of marriage to please the ancestors. So you do not get married or stay in marriage because you want to please other people. Image must be out of your mind when you decide to get married. It is not about how other people see you. It is about how you feel in your heart and whether you are willing to go through into this thing, or whether you are willing to ride the wave or to ride the storm. And if you're a Christian, the Christian principles should be guiding you. They that wait upon the Lord. Waiting upon the Lord does not only mean waiting for the Lord only. It means you apply the waiting principle in all situations. You do not rush into things because of image. Now, some other people want to get married for money and say, oh, this man has got money. That's why you've got people that get it all wrong. People want to marry you because you've got money. People want to marry you because you drive a certain car. If you come in a sports car, people think that you've got money. If you come in a German car, oh, they think you are loaded. They cannot realize that sometimes that German car that you are driving is a lot of debt on your shoulders. So people want to get this image thing. You know, I'm so troubled by young ladies who yearn or who strive to be passengers in a car driven by a man, and they sit on the left-hand side. What happened to young ladies dreaming of owning that car? What happened? You find young ladies saying that, I want, before you even date them, they ask you, do you have a car? Do you have a car? Really? Are you dating someone because they've got a car? That is the wrong particular image that you want to adopt into your relationship. So cars, material things should not be the reason why you need to get married to somebody, or you feel you want to get married to someone. As a matter of fact, you may get married to somebody who is penniless, but God has shown you the potential in this person. This person is a dreamer. This person has got dreams. This person has got vision. This person likes taking risks in business. You can see that this man is Driven by vision, this man can achieve much more. This man just needs support. And the Bible supports it. The Bible said God will make a woman to be a helper. A helper is the one that supports. So now God might want you to go in there and support this vision. I mean, let me tell you, many men that have succeeded and they were married, if after 10 years or 15 years they decide to split from their wives, just take note, those men go down. Everything goes south because their success was tied to this woman. So it is important that this woman got into marriage not because of money, but this woman got into marriage because God said so, or because of supporting the vision, or because of understanding your position as a helper. So remember, the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. So now, a good thing must come into the marriage to support. A good thing does not come into the marriage to demand a car. A good thing does not come into the marriage to demand that the man get into debt that he cannot afford in order to please them. So you do not get married for a particular image. You do not get married for a particular attire. You do not get married for a particular title of being a mamuruti. No. Remember, you must be something first before you get into marriage. You must be something first. When you get married to a doctor, a medical doctor, they don't call you my doctor. When you get married to a lawyer, they don't call you my lawyer. No, they don't. You need to establish yourself. Don't get into a marriage for the sake of being elevated in a particular position or maintain a particular image. So it's very, very important. Number 6, listen to me, single people. Listen to me very, very clearly. Do not marry someone who promises to change after marriage. Never. If you've got that red flag while you're still in courtship or dating, do not believe it when they say they will change when they get married. It does not happen. It does not happen. Believe you me, we have seen it in the past. People promising to change. No, look, their nature always comes back. Their nature always comes back. Somebody who wants to change will change not because they want to get married, or they will change not because they want to get married by you. They cannot change just because they want to please you. No, they must change simply because of their relationship with God. So if somebody cannot change because of the relationship with God, they can't change just because you married them. So now women, unfortunately, women fall for this trap. I mean, if your man is a womanizer, even before you get married, if he's a cheater and doing all those kind of things, do you think he'll change when you get married? It does not happen that way. It does not happen that way. It is a red flag that you need to take into consideration. But unfortunately, many people ignore these red flags. They go into marriage lovey-dovey, hoping that no, this man will change, the situation will change once he comes into the house, and then he'll come back home at 6 o'clock when he comes back from work immediately, and then he will sit down and watch TV together. No, if a man ki muthu wa majita, he will want to go to majita after work. If the man wants to enjoy his beer in the bar after work, during dating and everything else, and he forgets about you, He forgets about picking you up. He will still forget even when you're married. So now you dare not. Ladies, please do us pastors favors. We are tired of counseling such minor issues that could have been avoided. But just because somebody wanted to have an image, somebody wanted to drive a car, somebody wanted to be called so and so, they get married, because somebody promised that they will change. No, believe you me, they do not change. Did you hear that? Read my lips. They do not change. So now if you marry them at your own risk. You marry them knowing very well the chances of the risks that you are taking into your marriage. You are marrying them knowing that this is the potential problem that you've got to pray for each and every day. You must know that when you marry them, it is a prayer point that you are adopting into your lifestyle. It is a prayer point for every day. This prayer point, you cannot share it with anyone because you entered there knowing. I mean, look at all the people that are married today. I can tell you, they married knowing the weakness of their partner. Some say they regret. Some 20 years down the line, they are seeing this thing manifesting so strongly now. And they knew 20 years ago, they thought it would die. They were hoping it would die and it never died. So now remember, do not marry someone who promises to change. They never change. Number 7, do not marry someone who is extremely jealous. Yeah. You know, I see these young people these days, with cell phones. You find someone wanting to access the cell phone of the other partner, want to read the messages. Clearly the messages are not yours. Why are you so jealous? Did you know that if somebody wants to cheat, they can cheat while giving you their cell phone each and every day for you to browse through? Does it mean that when you browse through their cell phone, the delete button has been removed? Does it mean that the delete button does not work? It does not mean so. So now what is the point of being extremely jealous? I mean, you see your spouse or your potential partner speaking to the opposite gender, then all of a sudden it is a problem. Why the jealousy? Jealousy also manifests when there are exes involved. Oh, when there are exes, it extremely gets messy sometimes. Sure, when there are exes, yeah. And especially if there is a baby mama or a baby daddy, people cannot just cooperate for the sake of their children. Now, you see why we encourage you not to have children before you get married. Because it is these children that you got before you got married that are going to cause problems later. About baby mama, about baby daddy, and the jealousy type of thing, for you meeting in public for the sake of the children, somebody coming to fetch the children from your family, and your husband is not happy because the baby daddy is coming. You worry about whether the baby daddy must get into the house or not, or whether Hatlile wa mukapa, gating or not. So many complications. That is why, ladies, do not marry someone who says please have my child first before I marry you. Did you know there are many ladies who have been left holding babies? So what makes you think that you are special? You can't be special at all. You can't be special. They're gonna leave you with that baby. And frankly, some men are cowards. Some men are cowards. Why or how? They wouldn't want to marry a lady that has got children. No. If you find a man marrying somebody with a child and love that child wholeheartedly, you must know that that man comes from God. That man comes from God. If you've got 2 children, 3 children, 4 children, and this man wants to marry you with all the children, definitely you must know that man comes from God. That man comes from God. He does not want to marry for status. All he wants is you. And anything related to you, he loves. And that man will surprise you. He will even love your parents like they are his parents. You'll be so shocked. Such men come from God. It is these men that married, not because of jealousy. So now I encourage you, do not marry someone who is extremely jealous. Look, you might find that sometimes you are walking at a shopping center with your husband or your wife hand in hand. Then all of a sudden you see your ex passing by. Just because you want to demonstrate, you start putting your shoulder upon the shoulder or the head on your shoulder. You lean on in there. What for? Is it really necessary? Is it truly necessary to be so dramatic? You see people that get married for the wrong reasons. People that are insecure in their own marriages. People that are unsure whether it is them that got married or not. So it is important. It is important. It is for your own good. It is for your own good. The next one, number 8. I did mention it. Do not marry a man who says he wants a child first before he marries you. Never. Never. It is that man that is going to hurt you. Why does he wants to have a child first? Is he marrying for children? You see, he's marrying for a condition. He wants children, not you. He is showing you exactly that he's marrying for children, or he's marrying under pressure to please the parents who want grandchildren. He is not marrying you because he loves you. Did you know that when you love someone, you love them whether they bear children or not? You fight this fight of conception together. You visit gynecologists together. You do the womb cleaning together. You do the spermatozoa testing together. You try all avenues. You try artificial insemination together. Why? Because you belong together. And if it does not work, it does not matter. Why? Because you've got one another. So somebody that says they want children first before they marry you, they've got wrong motives. They've got wrong motives. Do not, number next, I can't remember, what number is it? Do not marry someone who says, I want to marry you and not your children. Suppose you've got children from a previous relationship. He says, no, you must do something about these children. They must go to your grandparents, or they must go to Papa Bohone and everything. No, what for? What for? Do not marry somebody who says to you, I want to marry you, not your children. Never. No matter how passionate or how loving he may be, no matter how supportive he may be, no matter how much money he gives you, if he says he does not want your children, that is a potential pedophile there, especially if you've got young girls as children. Potential pedophile, because he won't see your children as his children. One day you'll go to work and you will remain at home, you will sexually molest those children because they are not his anyway. He would have told you that I don't want these children here. So it is important that you make a proper decision. You make a properly informed decision. Unfortunately, some ladies they feel they've got to get married. It is not a must. It is not a must. Wait upon God. Honestly, it's not a must that we all should get married. It's not, honestly. But unfortunately, many people want to put themselves under pressure so unnecessarily. So unnecessarily. Point number next. Do not marry someone who has unrealistic expectations of you. Yeah, people get into marriage with unrealistic expectations. Look, it's like when you go to work. When you work, they give you a performance agreement. Now, if your manager gives you unrealistic expectations, you must know that manager does not like you. That manager does not want you there. That manager wants to fire you at some stage. The same with marriage. Unrealistic expectations. When you get into a marriage, you need to understand that no one is perfect, including you. So now some people want to get into this marriage, expect perfection. Expect perfection. I can't even describe what perfection do they expect, but then you can put your own perfection in there. They expect everything to be perfect. These men that were brought up by Mama's baby, they expect the wife to iron the shirts, align the shirts so that when the man wants to wear the shirts, the next day the shirts are neatly packed in there, the trousers are neatly pressed, the shoes polished, and all they do is just come in there and dress, put their tie on and go to work. Not all men are going to have that. Some men expect their women to be cooks. You expect women to cook everything, to know the dishes that your mom used to cook. Because your mom used to bake like this, you want your wife to bake like that as well. It may not happen that way. Your wife may not even know how to cook pap. Your wife may not know how to brine meat. Your wife may depend on takeaways every day. So now do not go into the marriage expect somebody to be perfect. You need to understand that a marriage is two imperfect people going into a partnership of trying to help one another to strive for perfection. Helping one another, holding another's hand. Marriage, there are no perfect people in marriage. Look, I'm 33 years into marriage. I'm still not perfect. My wife is not perfect. And whenever she makes a mistake, I just laugh. I just literally laugh. And when I make a mistake, I literally laugh at myself. And I apologize quickly. I say, I made a mistake here. 33 years later, I realized that no one is perfect. So if somebody has got unrealistic expectations, hi, no way. It's time for you to reconsider. Reconsider that relationship. No one is perfect. Know that very well. We see these TV programs on Mzansi, is it Mzansi for sure or something like that. There are programs called Our Perfect Wedding. Our Perfect Wedding. Have you ever seen also Dating My Family or something to that effect? I can't even remember the show. Our Perfect Wedding. People are so worried about the perfect wedding. Look at the things that they worry about today. They worry about the cake. They worry about the dress. They worry about the bridesmaids and the bridegrooms and the people there. They worry about the tent. They worry about the catering. Hey, marriage is not about a wedding. Marriage is not about a wedding. So you need to understand. Thank you, Tinsola, for your input there. Submission is not slavery. That is perfect. That is perfect. People sometimes mistake submission as being stupid. So submission is not stupid. Submission is understanding your position. By the way, not only women must submit, men must submit. If you read exactly that verse, Ephesians chapter 6, it says you must submit to one another. Submit to one another. Now some men would come in there and say, women must submit to me. No, the Bible says submit to one another. Read that verse and understand it quite well. Submit to one another. So it is important. It is important that you take these principles. Single people, you've got no reason to make mistakes. When we went into marriage, no one pushed us on these things. We had only the word of God. Thank God I got saved at the age of 13. I could read the Bible and understand the Bible, and I stuck to the word of God right from the age of 13. I was prophesied that I'll be a pastor at the age of 7. Thank goodness for my father who took us to church. He was not perfect, but he took us to church. Thank you for my mother who prayed for us each and every day. So we are standing on the word of God. Young people, thank goodness, thank God we are here to coach you and guide you. We want you to succeed in your marriages. Your marriage must not end in divorce. Make sure you take this advice. Make sure you take advice. Make sure you stick to the word of God. It's for your own good. We cannot keep on divorcing. We cannot keep on divorcing. The grass is not greener on the other side. You must know the kind of manure that they need to put in there to keep the grass green. The grass is not greener on the other side. You know, look, I don't like glorifying the devil, but then they say better the devil you know than the devil that you don't know. The grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is not greener on the other side. So stay in marriage. Some people divorce because of money. Some people divorce because of positions. I know of many people who divorced their husbands because their husbands were not bringing enough money. Hey, understand that marriage is not about money. Marriage is not about money. If you think marriage is about money, you still have a lot to learn. You still have a lot to learn. Anyway, thank you for joining me this evening. We'll be conducting a marriage seminar very, very soon at Progress Ministries. in Kagiso, Krugersdorp. We'll put the invitations here on Facebook, on WhatsApp, and maybe by that time we'll have our website ready as well. We encourage you to come to these marriage seminars because we share wonderful things. We've got couples that share their life story, couples married for a short period of time, couples married for a long period of time, couples that are coming from divorced relationships first, couples that are coming from abusive relationships, all in one seminar. It's a seminar not to be missed. We'll advertise it. We hope that you join us. Thank you for joining me this evening. May God bless you. Happy decision making. God bless you. I thank God for you. Goodbye. Let me acknowledge a couple of people that I see on the line. I see Prudence Kumalo is watching. Thank you, Pru. Thank you for joining us, Sisi. Say hi to everybody there at the blue place. Tintswalo, Zoe, Angel, thank you very much. Talenta, thank you very much for joining us. Prophetess Selina Miko, thank you for joining us. Kensani Maluleke, thank you for joining us. Pastor Patricia Dlamini, thank you for joining me, Sisi. Obakeng, thank you for joining me, Ntwana. I love you. Tiwan Mkoki, thank you very much. Sabata, my pastor, thank you very much for joining me there. And then Mpo Miles Makatu, Lisa Lise, thank you very much for joining me. Boni Litabare, thank you for joining me. Yeah, so Vuyo Martins, thank you for joining me as well. Goodbye, everybody. Let's meet tomorrow. Remember, I start the program at 6:15. Please tell people this program will be on YouTube. I'll be uploading it in the next hour on YouTube. It's either under my name or under the program called WordView on YouTube. You go to YouTube, search for WordView, subscribe so that you can be able to see all my programs in there. All my preaching is in there. Tell other people as well about it. Goodbye and good night.